So, Candace Owens was fired from the Daily Wire today. Jeremy Boring came out and said, Daily Wire and Candace Owens have ended their relationship. Now, I'm not going to lie. The Daily Wire fans aren't really too happy about this. We got Keith Wood saying disgraceful. Like all establishment conservatives, your belief in free speech ends at criticism of Zionism. We stand with Candace in all caps. Then you have a slew of JQ conspiracy, retweets and comments and stuff like that. David Santa Carla says, proving once again who can and cannot be criticized. You know what's funny about this? I want to say something really quickly. Candace Owens has found out. See, Candace Owens is someone who has crossed the line with black people many, many times. Candace Owens is the same person who came on the internet and said Ahmaud Arbery was guilty of stealing. Now, Ahmaud Arbery was a black man who was killed in Georgia by white men. He was killed for running in a neighborhood, and they thought he'd been stealing in that neighborhood. As it turns out, he had been jogging in the neighborhood and simply looking around in houses that were unbuilt. Candace Owens decides in her mind that Ahmaud Arbery's guilty. He stole. He was a thief. Come to find out, there were no stolen goods or items found on Ahmaud Arbery's person. Come to find out, in the camera footage of Ahmaud Arbery walking around in these unbuilt homes, he wasn't seen stealing anything. Ahmaud Arbery, as far as we know, was as innocent as could possibly be. It didn't stop Candace Owens from calling him a criminal. It didn't stop Candace Owens from saying he stole something. Why? Because he was black and because his death was being propped up in the frame of a martyr by BLM. For racial and political reasons, Candace Owens came to the conclusion that Ahmaud Arbery was guilty. My point is this. Candace Owens has realized today that some racism is okay for white conservatives and some racism is not. It was fun and fine and enjoyable when you were throwing people who looked like you under the bus. But now that you're coming for Jewish people, it's time to fire you. Honestly, I've said this many times before. Black conservatives, not all, but some will eventually end up finding out. Conservative white America is perfectly fine with you trying to make it seem like slavery wasn't that bad, or trying to make it seem like, race massacres and Jim Crow and redlining and the crack epidemic and mass incarceration, all these things, they weren't that bad. It's not that big of a deal. They're okay with you sitting there calling Ahmaud Arbery a criminal, but God forbid you take a stand against Israel. God forbid you criticize Israel. God forbid you start spewing JQ conspiracy theory on your show. God forbid you do that. Now it's time for us to fire you. Here's what's going to happen with this situation. Candace Owens has landed a massive blow to the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire, like so many other conservative platforms, is a platform that constantly champions free speech. And yet, here we see a scenario in which her speech was a little bit too much and they got rid of her. Candace Owens is not someone who's been necessarily racially soft. She's never really gone too far on her show. But to give y'all an example of what I'm talking about, to give you an idea of how far Candace has gone racially, don't worry. Give y'all an idea of how far Candace Owens has gone racially on her platform. This is in June 18th of 2021, coming up on Juneteenth, right? Candace Owens, this is when she was hired by the Daily Wire in 2021. Candace Owens says, to politicians all across the world, Black Americans are considered the dumbest ethnic group with the lowest emotional IQ. In other words, the easiest political pawns to destabilize America from the inside out. Now, Candace Owens is someone who completely rejects, as far as I know, her Black American heritage. She claims the Virgin Islands, which I also share heritage with. She, in another tweet, compares Black American and Caribbean culture and takes complete and total pride in her Caribbean heritage and links that to how hard of a worker she is. But in this particular tweet, she says Black Americans are the dumbest ethnic group with the lowest emotional IQ. Now, no politician in the world has publicly come out and said this at all. She came up with this on her own, and to be honest, it's really just a reflection of what she thinks personally. She was tweeting stuff like this. What I want Candace Owens to understand is you were allowed by the Daily Wire to come on the internet and say shit like this about people who look like you. I am both Black American and of Virgin Islands descent, and I can tell you right now, if it weren't for the sacrifices Black Americans made, non-Virgin Islander Caribbeans would not be able to come to this country in mass numbers. So it's funny that you got on this platform, spoke ill of Black Americans as an ethnic group, insulted their intelligence and emotional IQ. The Daily Wire still kept you. You still had a job. You start criticizing Israel. You start saying crazy shit about Jewish folk for about 5-6 months. You lose your job. Ain't that funny, Candace Owens? Ain't that funny? It's funny to me that you were able to come on the internet and speak ill of an ethnic group you belong to. Candace Owens ain't 100% Caribbean, even though she looks it. Candace, I gotta give it to you, Candace. You got some strong ass genes. I'm not gonna lie to you. You got strong genetics. You got the most Caribbean face I've ever seen. Candace Owens comes on the internet, speaks ill of Black Americans, is kept by the Daily Wire. She does not lose her job. She goes against Jewish folk for 6-7 months, job gone. So Candace Owens had this to say. Candace Owens said, "The rumors are true. I am finally free. If you would like to support my work, you can head to CandaceOwens.com where you will be directed to my local page, or you can give a gift at GoCandace.com. There will be many announcements in the weeks to come." Look at this chick, bro. She looks so damn Caribbean, bro. She literally looks like she just stepped off the plane from St. Thomas. Look, let me tell y'all, bro. Candace Owens is getting the comeuppance that very few Black conservatives usually get, but someone eventually bites the bullet. You were able to sit there and say all type of stuff about Black folk for the longest. You were able to sit there and disrespect the Black community for years. You were able to call people criminals who weren't criminals. You were able to sit there and slander BLM but offer no other alternative to police brutality. You were able to sit there and wear White Lives Matter shirts, which I'm not gonna lie, Candace, you are right. White lives do matter. I agree with you, but I see everyone knows what you were trying to do. You were trying to mock BLM. You sat there and mocked and played with and disrespected Black history, Black American folk, Black everything Black. You sat there and violated for years. You spent 6 months talking about the Jews and you lost your job. I want Black conservatives to realize what I learned a while ago. Racism against your own kind is always fun to conservative white America until you step out of bounds and start talking about something you ain't supposed to be talking about. Whether it's white people or Jewish people, if you start critiquing whites or Jews as a Black conservative, your time is about to be up. You're on borrowed time. It's limited. You ain't about to be around for long. This is a conversation that has to be had about Black conservatives. Y'all got to realize and recognize and wake up. Y'all are tokens. You are racial pieces on the board. You're like little racial pawns. They don't respect you. And Candace Owens is not going to get it yet because she hasn't come after white people yet. It's not until she actually gets on white people's ass that she'll realize exactly where she stands with these people. She won't get it yet with the Jewish thing. She needs to go after Anglo-Saxon conservative white America for something they're doing wrong in order for her to understand how they actually view her. Because I genuinely believe Candace Owens thinks she's better than the average Black person. And unfortunately, these conservative white Americans don't see it that way the moment you no longer become useful to them. You could be the smartest motherfucker on earth. You could be the Black Elon Musk. You could be Elonda Musk. That sounds like a Black female version of Elon. You could be Elonda Musk. If you don't agree with them, you're always going to be that Black chick, that low Black chick in their eyes. It's facts. We got a whole bunch of folk in this Daily Wire comment section yelling at the Daily Wire. So what I want both Jews and Black American conservatives to realize is that these folk don't respect y'all. Look at all these JQ comments in this comment section. Proving once again who can or cannot be criticized. Let's see. To learn who rules over you, simply find out who you are not allowed to criticize. Bro, there has always been an anti-Semitic undercurrent in Republican circles. And Jews who are conservative are starting to find out. Y'all about to find out after firing Candace Owens. Y'all are about to find out. Y'all are about to find out after firing Candace. It's the facts. It's absolutely the facts. Y'all Jewish conservatives, black conservatives, let this be a lesson to y'all. You can always sit there and speak for Jewish and black conservatives, let this be a lesson to y'all. For you Jewish conservatives, all it took was for the Daily Wire to fire Candace Owens for all this anti-Semitism to come crawling out of the Daily Wire's audience. These people don't respect y'all. These people don't really like y'all. They think you're all in a one conspiracy to do God knows what. Black conservatives, they don't respect y'all. They don't like y'all. All that tap dancing you were doing, all of that disrespecting your own kind that you were doing, it was all fine and dandy. Until you turned your attention to the Jews. Then they fired you. So I really hope black and Jewish conservatives learn a really important lesson today, that you are just conservative white America's useful tools. That's what y'all are. It's part of the reason why I'm not a conservative anymore. One of the many reasons is I realized I would never be fully accepted. I never would be. It didn't matter how I spoke, how I acted, how I talked. I would never be fully accepted in conservative political circles. I'm not saying white people would never accept me. I'm not saying Christian, white, conservative people could never accept me for who I am. But the political body of the conservative Republican right wing will never accept me, no matter what. And that's just the facts. And I'm not willing to sit here and speak softly about slavery and Jim Crow and mass incarceration and come up with a whole bunch of historical fallacies and lies to make conservative white America sleep better at night about racial issues. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to blame white people for things they never did, but I'm not going to sit here and cover up black history to make white people sleep better at night. I'm going to do neither. But I understand that in order to fit into white conservative circles, into Republican circles, I have to basically go back on my own history, disrespect my history, betray my history. I have to do that to fit into their circles. I'm not willing to do that. And Candace Owens has found out the hard way. It was fine and dandy when you did it to your own, but we draw the line at the Jews. She found out. Now, frankly, I'm not into the whole JQ stuff. I don't believe in coming after an entire race of people for the suspected and conspiratorially suspected actions of a few people. Right? I don't believe in that. So, as it pertains to this whole JQ thing, the Daily Wire is finding out today too. Y'all about to find out. Right, and the Daily Wire is about to find out today too. They're about to find out. Y'all's viewership is far more anti-Semitic than y'all thought. And you're finding out today. So, this is a chickens coming home to roost situation. This is a chickens coming home to roost situation. And now the right wing is even more divided than before. It is. The ones who suspect the Jews being behind every corner and the ones who don't are now going to have to go to war. As a Democrat, as a liberal, you couldn't ask for a better storyline. You could not ask. The writers are doing an amazing job right now, frankly. So, look at this. American Viking, Redhead Rory says, way to prove us wrong. There's no conspiracy. Jews at the Daily Wire, wake up. Jewish folk who support the right wing, wake up. This is how some of these folk feel about you. And all it took was Candace being fired for these folk to fully embrace the idea that y'all are behind every little corner scheming and plotting. Now y'all starting to see how we feel. It was fun when Candace was constantly shitting on black people, calling us victims and saying we had victim mentality and we're never going to get over the past and we have low IQs. You enjoyed it. Y'all were cool with it. Y'all didn't say anything. Y'all didn't stop Kanye when he said slavery was a choice. Y'all didn't say anything about that. Now y'all are starting to see. Now y'all about to understand. I've been trying to tell y'all minorities, bro. I'm not saying minorities can't be conservative, but realize and recognize which circles you are and aren't respected in. I didn't say accepted, respected. Because they might let you in, but you're never going to be treated the same way as a white man or a white woman. You got to respect it and realize that. You know what I'm saying? I know earlier in the video I said accepted, but what I really meant was respected. You can never really be in that space and truly just be yourself and be treated the same way as everyone else. Because you weren't born white. You're not, maybe you may not even, I'm not Christian. I would have never been able to fit in. I'm non-white. I'm non-Christian. Very liberal beliefs. I would have never been able to be accepted or respected. Now y'all black conservatives and Jewish conservatives can clearly see here that the right wing does not respect y'all in any way, shape, or form. They don't. They fire your ass, Candace, for doing the same shit you did to black folk. Candace Owens took a magnifying glass and said, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. They fired her. The one group she won't do it to, though, is white people. And I stand on that. Candace Owens will sooner end her career before she speaks any sort of critique toward conservative white America. I promise you. So, this is going to be a bad day for conservatives. It will be. Because now they're about to rip each other to shreds. Now they're about to go to war with one another. And I'm not necessarily sure which side is going to win. I don't know. I don't know which side is stronger, the anti-Semitic side, the non-anti-Semitic side. I don't know which side of the right wing is stronger, but we're about to see. Because Candace Owens is about to be the catalyst that causes a massive schism within conservative circles. And I wouldn't be surprised if this blows up beyond political punditry and actually spills into actual politics. So we'll have to see. But yeah, Candace Owens fired by the Daily Wire for being critical of Israel and Jewish people. I mean, bro, I've said it many times. I have said this many, 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 many times. You can't last forever as a black conservative. It's going to be one thing or another that gets you up out of there. Criticizing white folk, Jewish folk, something. They're completely fine with you talking shit about your own race until you cross one of their little lines and now all of a sudden they have a problem. Candace Owens done found out. But she'll be fine. She'll probably go work for Elon or something and she'll be good. She'll probably go work for Elon. That's probably what's about to happen. She'll go work for Elon Musk. This is an L for the Daily Wire and an L for Ben Shapiro. Yeah. Yeah, this is an L for them. I wonder what Brett Cooper's going to say. I wonder if Brett Cooper's even going to acknowledge this. Shout out to Brett. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Big Brett in the chat. But yeah, let's see what happens. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.